This episode of the Buffalonian Podcast is brought to you by the Cast Source Podcast Network, a podcast network built with and for entrepreneurs. We cover many genres, including sports, business, mental health, marketing, and entertainment, featuring podcasts such as Sports Bring People Together, Limitless, Saviors of the Metaverse, and The Athletic Mindset. Learn more at castsource.com/podcasts. Now, without further ado, let's get into the Buffalonian Podcast. The Buffalo Bills face off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll recap our picks from the past couple of weeks, take a look at some preseason predictions and see how they're doing, along with picking some more games for this weekend. This is the Buffalonian Podcast's Betting on the Bills. All right, let's go. We are back with the Buffalonian Podcasts, betting on the Bills week 5. Yeah, we've been AWOL for a little bit here. You know, appendicitis, schedule conflicts, you know, the whole nine. If you listen to the Buffalonian Podcast, you already know. We already went over that whole spiel. So we're gonna get right into it, and we're gonna take a look at this game here. The Bills play the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend, a matchup that was the home opener last year
that we all went to,
with a washed up old quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, who now is gone, thank God, because he shouldn't have been playing anymore. I mean, that's why they lost.
I don't know if you should thank God. I mean, Big Ben was pretty bad last year.
That's what I'm saying.
He's pretty washed.
Yeah, I mean, as a Bills fan, I would want to face Big Ben right now.
He beat us.
We're facing a rookie Kenny Pickett, his first career start.
We're 14-point favorites, as we'll get to in a minute here. But overall, like, last time we played the Steelers, I know Dom and I were there. Like, what went through your, like, come on, give us a testament here to, like, what you were thinking when we were ahead and then losing. Like,
it was pretty
there's some bad blood here.
It was pretty depressing.
So, yeah, it's a little depressing. Mike, what did you think watching it at home?
Yeah, probably the same.
I mean, I guess it might have been a little different being in person after seeing the block punt be returned.
And being harassed by Steelers fans walking out.
That was kind of a tough moment, I'd say. You know, you had so much high expectation going into that year.
It's Matt Hawk's ability to get the punt off fast.
I just remember I was at work, so I missed the first half, and I was like, oh, get out of here, get home, watch the Bills game, and then I just watched that. So,
well, the Steelers D-line took a sledgehammer to the Bills O-line.
Which I don't think will be happening this time around because T.J. Watt is ruled out. So, you know.
It's good that they don't have to face one of the better players in the NFL, but
let's get into this a little bit. The Bills have been a heavily injured team this season, and do you think that's a huge effect on this game, or is, like, I know we talked about it again on the most recent episode of the Buffalonian, but is this a good test for depth here against a more rookie team, you could say?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess just, you know, you can't overestimate any or underestimate any opponent. So I think, to an extent, this week should be more you let your backups play and let your starters get rest because the week after is KC.
Yeah,
and I think that's
we know we got to be ready for that because look at what they did to the Buccaneers. They absolutely dismantled them last week.
I think the Bills are looking to go 1-0 this week.
I think so.
I don't think they're looking ahead.
No. As Josh Allen said, 1-0 every weekend.
And on the Bible, he didn't know that they were playing the Chiefs, which I don't fully believe that.
He didn't know they were playing the Chiefs?
Yeah, he said hand on his Bible that he didn't know that they were playing the Chiefs.
Oh, that's fraudulent. 100% he's been
prepping
for that game.
But I think to your point about the injuries, it's a testament to the depth of the team. And I think it's important that they're getting these young guys in certain positions are getting these reps.
I know this was
a defensive back when you're supposedly at the end of the year going to get healthier in that aspect.
Yeah. No, I'm hoping we have a somewhat more complete roster for KC, but definitely against this week, I would suggest, test Shakir out, test those guys,
Well, I don't think they have the
choice,
the luxury of not testing him out. I think.
Yeah. But honestly, all things aside, I'm pretty excited to see how they come in and perform in a full game setting, not just Shakir coming in a little bit last game.
Well, we know those reps are going to be important down the stretch when they get more into like their depth role. But if another player goes down later in the year, they had those reps in the beginning of the year to be ready for that kind of moment to shine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that happens every year in the postseason. There's some random. Gabe Davis was wide receiver 4 for most of the year.
Yeah, and then he just shows up with four touchdowns in one game in the postseason. So
Taron Johnson was benched during the 2020 season, comes up with the big pick six against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
in the end zone. So
yeah, the pick set. I forgot about that last time.
it's always, there's always a game or performance that someone that you didn't really expect to fully count on and comes through for you. So
Right. Now, what would you think if you had to look at this game, one of the keys to success, or any keys to success, like to beating these guys? Like, I know we're 14-point favorites, but it's not always, could go either way. I mean,
Lost to Jacksonville last year.
yes, exactly.
Well, I think keys to the success would be they have to be able to run the ball better, more effectively, because the Steelers struggle against the run. The Patriots ran all over them.
Yeah.
The Bengals had success against them. The Jets had some success against them.
We also seem to struggle against a run in the first half at least, and then we button it up.
But no T.J. Watt, as you noted. Cam Hayward was limited in practice. I think, the run defense for Pittsburgh is definitely a weak point for them. Obviously, they have a lot of injuries in their secondary with Fitzpatrick not practicing today.
Right, and that's huge.
Other corners not practicing or being limited, so they're banged up in the secondary. But you kind of already expect the Bills to be effective passing the ball, especially with how Gabe Davis, we'll talk a little bit more about the Bills' injuries in a second, but you expect the Bills to be able to move the ball offensively, but getting the run game going would be very important for this game.
Yeah, no, we definitely. I think McDermott even noted that in a press conference today or something. He was mentioning how the run game's got to get figured out. Like that's the
dimension.
Yeah, he's said that for years, but I think I think they know. Like we're missing something here.
Yeah, no, I know last year it took a while for like motor to get going. It was kind of the last few weeks of the year.
Then we were screaming
postseason.
motor in all game pretty much.
Yeah, like that was when he got successful. So I think having him be more impactful earlier in the year will not only be good overall for the Bills team, but you got to remember Singletary's also looking for a contract. So he's going to want to get as many touches as he can to show that he's worthy of an extension.
Absolutely. And I would say, like, if you want to flip it to the other side of the ball, I would just say make Kenny Pickett's head spin. This isn't a good offense, but this isn't a good Steelers offensive line. You're going to be able to get pressure on him, I think, throughout the game. He's going to, Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott do a good job of disguising their coverage, making the quarterback's head spin, especially for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
But the big thing for the Bills would be this is really the first wide receiver, tight end unit that's really going to jump balls.
Yeah.
Pat Fryermuth's a big tight end. Claypool, George Pickens, those are big wide receivers. Even, Deontay Johnson may not be, big in terms of size, but he made some incredible catches. So this is, for those young corners. I know Dane's still kind of a young corner, but Elam, it's going to be a testament to you're going to have to be very physical against these receivers, and you're going to have to win some jump balls.
No, absolutely. And, Pickett to Pickens. That's what everyone's been preaching the past week, Definitely going to have to watch out. George Pickens, he's a good, decent receiver.
He kind of had a breakout last game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because he's probably had more reps with
Pickett
in practice compared to Trubisky.
Mm-hmm. Does part of you still wish it was Trubisky just because, he played for us last year? And
I don't know if it's entirely Trubisky's fault. Like, I don't think he's played great, but I don't think he's played terrible either.
Well, rumor has it they wouldn't let him call an audible.
I think just that team in general just is in need of a rebuild.
I think that team is offensively terribly coached. I think Juju Smith-Schuster said something along the lines of, this is his first year in Kansas City, and he's learned more about offense in his first year in Kansas City than he has did in the entire 5 years.
Who's their OC? Matt Canada?
Tough.
Yeah.
The TikTok dancing guy says that. I can't believe that. Do you think this could be Mike Tomlin's first losing season as the Steelers head coach? He has not had one losing season.
Yeah, I think if you look at their schedule, they have a tough couple games out of them. Like, they could be like 1-7, 1-8. So, and especially without T.J. Watt for at least probably another couple of weeks, and the defense is banged up, starting a rookie quarterback. I mean,
maybe they'll rally. Maybe they'll go 9-8.
8-1.
They got lucky last year, so to even make the playoffs, to even have a winning record in the first place. So
yeah.
I mean,
I was honestly hoping for them to beat Kansas City too. I thought Big Ben was going to pull one last one out of nowhere, but nope, didn't happen. So.
Nah, Big Ben. But I guess looking a little bit not long-term as you were talking about the Chiefs, but we talked a little bit about the Steelers injury report. Obviously, the Bills injury report is
still long.
Is an
Yeah,
essay.
I just saw it on Instagram, and I was like, whoa, it's a list. It's a list still.
It is quite a list. Obviously, some of that is a little, like, misleading because it's Wednesday. And
Yeah, like I remember seeing like Von Miller, and
vet
I was
rest.
like, whoa, what's going on here? But yeah, no, the vet rest got me.
The vet rest is always one of those options, and also Wednesdays always kind of people kind of still recovering from Sunday. So, like, and even with the Steelers injury report, you got to take a little bit for a grain of salt, but it was good. Obviously, Poyer didn't practice, but I don't think that's a big concern because that was about, like, sore ribs.
Yeah.
McKenzie's still in concussion protocol, so.
That's tough. I mean, Crowder and McKenzie, our two slot guys, are gone, so it's definitely Shakir's moment to shine.
Yeah, and especially you have Tavon Austin calling it quits with the Bills.
Yeah. Probably right when he was gonna get a shot.
Yeah.
Well, I think the reason why he called it quits is because I don't think he was going to get a shot. I think he was upset that they weren't going to move him to the roster. I think it's going to be Isaiah Hodgins.
Honestly, I'm not too worried about that though. I
We'll see
like
where he
Hodgins
goes.
being out there. You know,
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, no Kumaro still. That's still a significant depth loss. Gabe Davis, though, said reporters were saying this is his best practice in a while since the injury. So that was a good.
got him
year.
in fantasy. Put him in.
No-
Have faith in Gabe.
No Dawson Knox is a little concerning, but that's probably just because he's a little banged up. You know, you hope those are just kind of nicks. And then obviously, you know, Ed Oliver is still limited in practice, but again, people said he looked very good.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, it's nice to see Big Jordan Phelps return to practice.
Yes.
I think they're still gonna probably. I mean, hamstring is a really weird.
Yeah.
injury.
You could re-injury risk is high with a hamstring.
So I just assume that
You could do it at just walking. tweaking.
Yeah, it's kind of just one that lingers.
Yeah.
I just assume that he won't play, but it's nice to see him on the practice field. And obviously, Tremaine didn't practice because of a hamstring, so that's something to monitor.
Yeah.
Another situation to monitor is this was the first day that Trey White was eligible
And he did not practice.
to come off the PUB list to activate his 21 days until, like, once you activate the 21 days, you have 21 days to become on the active roster to go on season-ending IR. So obviously they're not comfortable yet with him practicing, which is not concerning. But
No.
I think we said this in the before the even season started. I think a really good bet is that he comes back after the bye against Green Bay. So
Oh yeah, they give
Not
him
really
that
surprised
free
by that.
week too. Yeah, and especially from that point forward, the schedule I don't want to say lightens up a little bit, but
No, we had a rough,
Yeah.
hard start. Like you have the Super Bowl champs.
We're kicking right into Kansas
top
City
seed
and
in
Green
AFC.
Bay. Yeah,
this is just your second home game, and then you're gonna go on Kansas City too. So
yeah.
7 weeks in, I mean, you get your bye, but for your first 6 are on the road is a tough start.
Then your next home game's against Aaron Rodgers, so it's just like. But then again, the Packers are kind of very
Middling.
young minus him, so I mean it'll be interesting to see how that game goes. But
The Packers definitely haven't had the best start.
No.
What the record would say. But
yeah,
I think it's an interesting injury report to keep your eye on. I think hopefully you see Tremaine come back to practice. Hopefully you see some progression from obviously like the 2 DTs, maybe some Kumaro action. We'll see. I think this is kind of
well, what was Kumaro's injury again? Sorry, I'm
High
high
ankle
ankle sprain. Same as Mac Jones.
yeah. So
His
I
is a little more severe, but I mean,
I think his is some more severe than Jake's, but I think Jake's probably gonna
Shout
be
out Bailey Zappi.
yeah. I hear everyone talking about how it's Tom Brady 2.0. the high round draft pick comes in rookie year to take over for the injured starter Bledsoe, and does well. Goes to overtime with the Green Bay Packers, and Brady only threw 45 yards that game when he came in. They tried to run the ball more, but he threw 90. He's doubled it. So, I mean, it very well could be. I don't want to be rooting for the Patriots here, but I like a comeback story like that. I like an underdog.
Yeah.
Bailey Zappi. That's how you actually say his name.
Yeah.
Jim Nance was saying it. I was like, he's saying it wrong. But no, I was wrong. So
Interesting. So, coming on from that, let's think of a little bit of a new part of our preview of the game, I should say. Let's pick a player on the offensive side and a player on the defensive side that's going to be the MVP. Could be the opposing team. We don't have to pick straight Bills here, but I think
I think offensive is Josh Allen.
That's the obvious. Yeah, that's the obvious answer.
Dude's the offense.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Motor.
Motor.
I think Motor's gonna have a good game.
Motor in.
I mean, Mike kind of stole mine. I thought I knew Joe was gonna go Josh. I was gonna go Motor because I brought up the running game, but
Reggie Gillum.
I'll switch it up.
Honestly,
No, wait, time out. I'll switch it up. I'm going to say the offensive line.
Okay, that's fair.
I think Pittsburgh banged up front. This is the week for the offensive line to open those holes, get the running game going, and protect
Offensive
Josh.
line good leans to Singletary good. So,
Yeah, but I mean, Singletary could. I mean, listen, Singletary could have a good receiving game though, and then that's how he could be MVP though.
honestly, I just want to throw this point in there.
So you're Josh?
I'm Josh. I'm gonna say actually, you know what? I'm changing.
No,
No, listen. I'm going off the rails here. Okay, we have an injured receiver core, right? Pretty injured.
Oh man.
I think
$10 Isaiah Hodgins.
Nope. I think the receiving back comes out in James Cook, and we use him a lot
Well,
for
that's
some screen passes. I
That's a
think he's
bold
gonna have a
take.
great game.
That's a bold take.
I respect it.
I was gonna take the easy way out with Josh, but I realized I think that's where I think James Cook might actually have a decent game.
I respect it. All right, let's go to the defense side of the ball.
I mean, I'll start here. I think it's gonna be Kyer again.
Yeah, dude's been locked down. It's an easy pick.
He'll probably guard Deontay Johnson, maybe
Maybe.
Claypool.
Whoever, yeah.
You know what?
Maybe
I think Taron
rotate.
Johnson has a pick 6. I think he gets the MVP for that.
Oh, another pick 6 for Terry Johnson against
Yep.
the Steelers.
Yep. It's in his character at this point. He's got to do it.
I'm gonna go Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I don't
I
like.
think Von Miller's paid dividends for that man.
Yeah, I mean, Groot
Oh, yeah.
Groot's had 4 sacks, made a couple of splash plays, but I think this is like the game where he gets a strip sack or some kind of forced fumble.
Yeah.
No, he's due.
Oh, speaking of forced fumble, a little bit off topic. Have you seen the video of Owe as Singletary is going to the ground, nearly forced a fumble at the end of the game?
Did he really?
Yes. If you actually,
No.
there's a video. I urge all the viewers to look it up. There is a video from Calais Campbell, so if you want to look up his Twitter, of how when Singletary is going down the 3-yard line, you know how like everyone's like all mad at Owe for trying to like tackle him, remember?
Yeah.
Owe actually hits the ball, and the ball he's carrying it with 2 hands, and actually the ball slides down into his hip.
Oh,
Wow.
So it was almost a clutch play. I mean, granted, probably still shouldn't have done it, but it was almost clutch.
yeah.
Speaking
Good
of
Lord.
fumbles,
Wow.
I didn't know that.
No, I had
Nice
no
little
idea
tidbit.
either. Look at that.
this is why you.
Look,
This
come
is
here,
why.
buddy.
This is why you come on the Buffalonian podcast.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome. I had no idea. Look at you with that stat coming in.
You know me, man. So let's do some score predictions. Obviously, the Bills are 14-point favorites. Some books I think have 14.5, but we'll just go that they're 14. And I believe the over/under is 47. So obviously, what they're expecting is the Steelers to basically get under 10 points and lose by 14. I mean, that's pretty much
No,
what,
yeah,
a
you're
low,
right, you're right.
When you get a low over/under like that, a big spread, that's pretty much what it means. So, Joe, you want to start us off, or do you want?
I think it's Bills 56-7.
56-7.
Yep.
Dude,
Honestly, you want to know
I think
something?
Taron Johnson is 3
You want-
pick
hey,
sixes.
you want to know something? His prediction for the Titans game was actually pretty
45.
accurate.
I said 45-7, and it was 41-7.
Listen, the spread was 14. You just more than tripled what the
Absolutely.
spread actually is.
I think it's going to be, I'll say 28-17 Bills.
Ooh, I'm gonna go 27-10 Bills.
I'm sticking with it.
So we got 2 covers for the Bills. Mike thinks the Steelers are gonna. I'm sorry, Mike thinks the Steelers are gonna cover, and we think the Bills are gonna cover.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
More than cover.
listen.
56
Listen,
to 7.
I'm riding hot after the 45-7. I was 4 points up, 2 safeties, and they would have gotten it.
Or if they would have instead of kicked the field goal, went for a touchdown. But you can take your 2 safeties.
No, 2 safeties would have been the exact score, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
No.
but if they would have instead of kicking that one, never mind.
All right.
It's not important.
Beside the point.
It's beside.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for our opening segment of Betting on the Bills. We'll be right back with our picks and more right after this. This edition of the Buffalonian Podcast is brought to you by the Cast Source Podcast Network, a podcast network built with and for entrepreneurs, featuring shows such as Sports Bring People Together. Listen to entrepreneurial conversations with those in sports, could be players, agents, and so on. And who knows where the conversation will take you, but sports got us together in the first place. Find this show wherever you listen to podcasts or simply visit sportseplus.com. And now let's get back to the show. We are back with the Buffalonian podcast. It's betting on the Bills week 5. And we're going to head into some picks. We're going to, it's been a little bit since we've been here. So, with what we've mentioned before, appendicitis, schedule conflict. So we got to delve in here and give you our totals for the season and on the podcast so far. So the results from last week, just last week's games in general. Dom, respectable 14-2. Then
probably the best week I'm going to post all year.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, no way. Like
the Browns and the Steelers, man, the two AFC North teams.
And you picked the Browns?
Yep, and they lost by a combined 7 points. 7 points away from an undefeated week.
That's nuts. Imagine if you hit 16-0. I don't think you could even give a pick again after that.
I think I would have to retire from doing those podcasts.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then I come in at 13-3, and Mike 8-8. 500. He's still 500.
Call me Jeff Fisher, Mr. 500.
Mr. 500. I mean, all in all, not bad. Our average, I mean, roughly, 11, 12 would be the average. 10, maybe?
10, we're week 4 in. You and I have 40 wins. You and I are 40-23.
No, I'm talking like for last week. Like the average between us would probably be like 10 or 11 wins.
The average was 11 2/3, yeah.
11 2/3. Wow, look at that math guy right on the dime. Like 11 2/3, he knew. So, and then as Dom said, totals for this season so far, Dom is 40-23-1.
We don't have to count the one. I mean, the one's just to count.
I mean, it's it's
a tie.
Bogus Houston game to start the season. I'm 40-23 as well. Dom and I are tied, and Mike is 31-32. Almost Mr. 500. Not quite.
We'll get over the hump.
We get over the hump. Listen, it's week 5. Week 5. We've only had 4 sets of games. Not bad. I think we're, all in all, I think we could be, if you had any questions on picking games, I think we're the guys to ask. I mean, I've seen people doing way worse. People sitting way low in the wins. But, I mean, how are you feeling after 40-23?
Well, I mean, if you look at I'm 17 games above 500. This last week I was 12, so I was sitting all right. I was sitting like 5 games above 500 before.
Yeah. No, I'm in the same boat, buddy. Get the same record. Look at that.
Pretty solid start. Not gonna complain. Mike obviously has some ground to make up, but
it's fine. I do my best work from behind.
Listen. I'm telling you right now, there's gonna be 1 week coming up where I go like 6-10, or Joe goes 5-11, and Mike goes like
16-0,
10-6, and then all of a sudden he makes up 4 games. So.
I think Mike will have a 16-0 at one point.
I'm gonna make the prediction right now. Mike is gonna finish in the top 2. He's gonna get out of the basement.
Wow, out of 3.
Yep. Out of 3.
Yep.
So which one of you two is dropping?
I think Dom drops.
We all know who that answer is.
Dom drops.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And you're done. You just said it. You're not gonna have another season. You're not gonna have another week like
past
this.
My prime.
Yeah, you're past your prime. I'm cooking right now. I'm cooking.
All right.
So obviously, looking at last week's results, were all pretty good. Season so far pretty good. Looking at our preseason predictions, I think most of us are pretty pleased with how we're looking. With that, obviously my Mahomes pick for MVP looks pretty nice right about now.
I think our Allen pick for MVP looks pretty
good. My Herbert
good.
pick is a little questionable.
But he's still
not
in.
Yet.
He's not out.
Yeah, I mean he had a pretty bad injury and he's still playing pretty well. So
still
I mean, it's
top
not out
5.
of the question.
I will say not loving my division picks. Obviously the Bills, good pick. Chiefs were a good pick. Nice one. Chiefs were a great
Mike's dropping
pick.
phones over here.
Great pick. Colts, terrible pick. That
was brutal.
That's not going to work out for me. I'm just going to say that straight.
I said
Actually, there's only 4 games in.
No.
I remember I said I was not picking the Colts, and both of you just chastised me for it.
Listen, the Jags are going to win that division.
Okay.
And then
that's not a long shot, but
the Ravens, not a bad pick so far. I mean, they're technically tied for first.
Yeah.
The NFC is where it gets a little suspect.
USFL. Except for like 4 teams.
I mean, the Rams are kind of been meh, but everyone that
49ers stomped them the other night. Stomped them.
Listen. I believe in Sean McVay. Me picking the Cowboys over the Eagles, not looking great.
Yeah, see?
I remember.
Yeah. I was high on the Eagles.
I picking the Packers is not looking too bad. I know they lost to the Vikings, but I feel pretty confident in their ability. And then honestly, the Bucks. Speaking out my division picks, I feel a lot better about myself. Other than the AFC South, that's a train wreck.
No, yeah. I mean, honestly, did you see what Brady did on his Twitter?
Yeah.
He removed family and football and just put football. Dude's turned on for the rest of the season. He's gonna cook. I'm telling you. There's
he didn't practice today for injuries.
No, it's because he's getting his divorce lawyers. He's lawyering up.
Maybe.
Poor guy.
That is. I mean, I don't wish that on anyone, even a guy that stomped on the Bills for 20 years. You know, I mean, trust me, like there's no foul play here, but the dude's gearing up. He's gonna have a revenge thing going on. He's mad.
No,
you know?
absolutely.
It's just Tom Brady fashion.
I'm trying to think what our other. Offensive player. I picked Justin Jefferson. That was looking real good after week 1. Came back to week 4 in London though. Absolutely cooked Marshawn Lattimore.
Oh yeah, no, that game was really exciting to watch. London got a good one this year.
Cooked them. Absolutely cooked them. Defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett. Yeah, that's also a pick that's not going to work out after he crashed his car.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on Twitter. I was like, oh, there goes Dom's pick for defensive player of the year.
Olave's not been too bad. Hutchinson has been kind of all right. He had the 3
Didn't you
game.
and I pick Von Miller, if I remember correctly?
I did not. I think I picked Aaron Donald.
Who did I pick? I forget.
You probably picked on.
You think I picked Von?
Probably.
We'll have to look back. And
you were a homer. I just remember in your picks.
Yeah, so I was a homer.
I think yeah.
No, I actually picked Kyrie Elam, I think.
In defensive rookie of the year.
I'm kidding. Defensive rookie of the year, maybe.
No, we picked. I think all of us picked
I picked Hutchinson.
Oh, yeah, I did pick
And
Hutchinson.
he's been all right. He had the 3-sack game.
Well, he was really the only standout to pick for that anyway, but...
Yeah.
No, you could argue like Trayvon Walker.
He had the
Kyle
pick.
Hamilton.
Did he have a pick 6? No, he didn't have a pick 6, but he had a pick in the second game. He's been all right too.
A few guys.
Listen, we're a quarter of the way in, but the picks have looked pretty solid. The game picks look solid. The division picks looked actually better than I remember them being, and the award picks are kind of a crapshoot. But we're a quarter of the way in.
Oh, and you know what?
No, I'm sorry. We're technically a quarter of the way in. Thank you, 17 game schedule.
Yeah, 17 throws the whole equilibrium off here, but you know what they say, any given Sunday. So anything can happen. You know, like you said, the Jags beat us last year 9-6, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But
who saw that coming?
Jags fans.
Jags fans. Yeah,
No,
absolutely. But I mean, all in all, I think we're pretty solid. Do you wanna move into the picks for this week?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Obviously, we picked
the 5 most
intriguing games to us,
games, including Thursday night.
Yeah.
Right? This time we include Thursday night. I don't think we've been doing that recently.
We did when it was the Bills.
Well,
Bias.
I think that was
because the
I think that was-
this episode's named betting on the Bills every
I
week.
think most of the reason they turn here is for Bills to talk, and then they stick around for this part. So we appreciate you guys still listening.
Yeah.
So the 5 games that we picked were the Bengals Ravens, because that was Sunday Night Football. That's a good game. Dolphins Jets, because it's a good divisional game. Colts Broncos, because it's a 2 AFC primetime game. That's kind of interesting. Giants Packers, because it's the London game and also with the Dable effect. And then Cowboys Rams, kind of the wild card game, but Rams a team that the Bills played. Dallas is kind of an interesting team with the whole Cooper Rush syndrome.
Yeah.
So,
Cooper Rush, man, 4-0. First Dallas QB in history to do that.
So Mike, I'll let you pick, Mike. Which of the 5 games would you like to start with?
Well, I guess start right at the top. Bengals Ravens, first one listed. So
Ravens are 3-point favorites at home.
I believe Bengals are going to win.
So do I.
Do you think they're going to cut? Yeah,
I think Baltimore's going to blow another lead. Not 17 points, but I think they're going to blow another lead.
I agree with you on that. I think Joe Burrow's due, and they're finally. I think they're getting over that Super Bowl loss hangover, and I think they're starting to make a move for a few
I think it's
things.
going to be a close game. I think it's going to be like a 1-score final drive win situation.
Yeah. Give me the Ravens and the points, man. Give me the Ravens and the points.
Oh, boy.
All right.
At home, I think the 3-point spread shows you that Vegas thinks these teams are equal, because usually you get 3 points for having home field advantage. And listen, I picked the Ravens to win the division, and I pretty much picked them to win this kind of game against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals have not impressed me throughout this entire season. What's their best performance against the Jets? Did they even really look that good against Miami? Miami could have won that game with Teddy Bridgewater playing.
Yeah, you got a point.
The second half. And then obviously they lost to Cooper Rush in Dallas. That might not look as bad, but the offensive line is still an issue, and I expect the Ravens to be, the Ravens are a team that causes a lot of turnovers. So if they could get pressure on Burrow, they're very, strip sacks, picks. Obviously, I know Burrow kind of owned them last year. I think the Ravens want some revenge. I think they're motivated. Lamar on a big stage trying to earn that contract, as Mike's talked about. Devin Singletary trying to earn a contract. So
Jermaine Edmonds trying to get that contract. Jordan Poyer trying to get that contract.
Yeah, we got a lot of people getting contracts.
One of them contracts. Joe Burrow, trying to get a contract later in his career. So, you got to win those kind of games against your peers. And I think Lamar He's motivated after what happened last week, and I think they're gonna win by 10. I think like 30-20, that kind of score.
I mean, I can see it. I'm just gonna stick with the Bengals because I think that Super Bowl hangover is kicking away. But with that being said,
I think it's still there a little. You know, Zach Taylor. I think he's trash. I think. I don't listen, man.
I see.
As a Bills fan, I gotta admit, man, the one with them making the Super Bowl and them, hopefully committing to Zach Taylor, I gotta be very happy with that. I think Sean McDermott and Zach Taylor is a big mismatch going forward. So very happy to see that.
All right.
As a Bills fan. So Joe, out of the 4 games left, I'll let you select next.
I'm gonna pick the Dolphins at the New York Jets.
Oh, we're still going from the top. Okay.
Yeah. I here's my thing. I think the Jets are gonna wipe the floor with Teddy Bridgewater and the Dolphins. I look at this game and I look at how the Jets played last week. Zach Wilson's back in the game. I picked them thinking it was still in Flacco I trust, but I guess not. And you've got the team's clicking, Robert Saleh, I'd love to see them knock the Dolphins. We'll beat the Jets twice. I can tell you that right now. And I'd love to see them lose to the Dolphins so then we can take the East back because divisional opponent.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Jets. That's only the it's in Miami, correct?
It's in New York. Miami is a 3-point road favorite.
I'm still taking the Jets.
Which means Vegas thinks they're about a touchdown better than the Jets.
Take away the home team 3-point favorite and move it that way. Yeah. No, I'm still taking the Jets. I think Zach Wilson will do it for him.
Take the Jets? Okay, so 2 underdogs.
I'm gonna go with the Jets too. I don't trust Teddy B.
I'm an underdog guy. I told you that last time we did this.
I'm picking the Finns. The Jets won 24-20 against the Steelers. There is some projecting like the actual score should have been something like 30-17 Steelers. That means the Steelers completely butchered the game. I don't think Miami's gonna butcher this game. Miami's on a very long week and they get Armstead healthy, Howard healthy. Teddy Bridgewater is a serviceable quarterback. They're not gonna ask him to too much. Listen, mid. Okay, we're gonna say Zach Wilson's not mid right now.
No, Zach Wilson's also mid.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not like they have a big quarterback advantage because Tua's out. So, which is kind of bizarre that Tua's already been ruled out if he's in concussion protocol. But let that be. Let that whole mess settle itself out. But
yeah.
I'm taking the road favorite. I think what I want as a Bills fan, the best outcome of this game is Jets win because I think the Dolphins are better than the Jets. But I can't be biased here. I gotta try and get the best picks, for the listeners.
Oh man,
and
here we go
for the viewers.
The moral compass of the sports gambler here.
The ethics behind it. So
oh my gosh,
give me the Dolphins and the points, man. I think they're gonna steamroll. I don't think this game's gonna.
I think Zach Wilson's moving in on Giselle. He's gonna pull an absolute alpha move. I think he's got the game for sure.
I don't think we were talking about Teddy Bridgewater. No one's talking about this. This is a very good Miami defense.
Yeah,
and they blitz the crap out of you. So. And Zach Wilson was terrible under pressure last year. Was not good under pressure last week against the Steelers. So
he's a Chad now, though.
It don't matter, man. It don't matter.
He's calm and cool, collected under
Chad
pressure.
Powers, Chad whatever. He's gonna throw 4 picks.
That was the best piece of sports media I've seen in a long time.
Chad Powers.
I was homeschooled.
Actually, the second best. The best sports media is this podcast.
Oh, look at you! Give me 5 on that one too. The zingers.
I'm on it today, man.
Yeah, he's on top of it.
We're turning the betting on the Bills pod. I'm on.
Oh my gosh!
So
all right, you pick the next one we roll into.
I'll be different. I'm gonna pick the London game.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go from the top. So Giants Packers. Packers are 8.5-point favorites.
Who's the Giants quarterback?
Dane Dimes.
That is a great question.
Possibly Davis Webb.
I don't.
They need to find someone who has a passport.
I actually had to look that up.
It's possibly Davis Webb.
Because
really?
He was on their practice squad.
I know for a fact that they were having to.
They tried some people out, didn't they?
Yeah, they tried out. Who's his name? Jake Fromm. Oh, Yahoo Sports said that Daniel Jones practice says ankle feels good.
Oh, so Daniel Jones will start.
This is my thoughts.
Okay.
I think the Packers are going to win the game. But I think the Giants are going to cover. I think this is going to be kind of, we could see maybe a backdoor cover situation. 8.5. 8.5 is just too many points. Mm-hmm. It is too many points for a team that just went to overtime at home against Bailey Zappi.
Yeah.
And for a team that has consistently struggled against physical teams. And the Giants are a physical team with Saquon Barkley.
Saquon, yeah.
They're going to run the ball. As long as Daniel Jones is an absolute vomit on himself, the Giants' defense is pretty solid as well. So...
As long as Daniel Jones doesn't
as long as Daniel Jones doesn't absolutely crap himself in London, I feel pretty confident that the Giants will either backdoor cover or keep the game close enough. But I picked the Packers in a money line situation,
Yeah.
in a game pick situation. But if we're picking spreads here too, and I would easily take the Giants spread.
That's a fair take.
Yeah.
Like I agree with you. I think the Packers win. I could see it being a close game, but I do think that Aaron Rodgers might have found his new favorite wide receiver,
His groove.
Romeo Dobbs.
Well, the guy that dropped the touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic performance.
I just look at it this way. I really don't think the Packers should be really, if we're really considering it, Packers probably shouldn't be like 8.5-point favorites on a neutral field against anyone right now because of how they're playing.
Absolutely not.
So I just think
They
it's too many
barely
points.
edged out the Buccaneers.
No, they're just overrated because of A-Rod.
They're overrated.
Yeah.
They're 3-1. Like, listen, they have a solid defense, but that defense it's kind of like a little bit Billsy. That every year they seem to have like that stretch where they just can't stop the run.
Yeah.
And the Patriots ran the ball down their throats a little bit.
Yeah.
That's how they stayed in the game. So they also got a defensive touchdown. So, a frisky Giants defense, Saquon Barkley, give me the Giants points. But again, Packers. What about you, Joe? You same boat? Or are you gonna pick the Giants outright?
Now hear me out here.
Oh man,
Just hear me out. I'm taking the Giants.
outright?
Outright. Taking the Giants. And here's why. Brian Dable, the Bills' ex-offensive coordinator. He parties with the guys in the locker room.
Is that your analysis?
Let's just listen. I'm thinking here as I'm speaking. Thinking before I speak so I don't go off on a tangent. And I think Danny Dimes is going to do it in London. He's going to go put on a show. He's going to have that open field break like he did when he tripped over himself, except he's not going to trip over himself. He'll be the guy to do it this time. And Saquon, he just speaks for himself. I think Danny Dimes spits in Aaron Rodgers' face in this game. I'm taking Danny Dimes in the Giants.
Okay, another underdog.
I'm the underdog guy. I'm telling you.
I've picked 3 favorites, but I picked an underdog to cover. So it's an interesting start. 2 more games left. You have a 50-50 chance, Mike. Which game do you want to talk about?
We'll do the battle of the horses. Colts and Broncos.
No,
Peyton both of Peyton Manning's
Yep.
ex-teams.
it's understand.
The battle of the horses. Colts and Broncos. I don't like how Nate Hackett had to hire a coach to make decisions for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't like the Colts. One, without JT, and 2, just in general, they've had a brutal season. So I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I think it's going to be very sloppy. But I'm going to pick the Broncos.
You're taking the points. They're 3.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I've got one thing to say and one thing only here. Broncos country. Let's ride. Not let's hide. Let's ride. We're gonna ride right in. We're gonna win. Broncos country is gonna take it on Thursday Night Football.
Wow.
That's all I have to say.
And this is going to be our first unanimous pick because I'm also picking the Broncos. Obviously, Mike alluded to it. No JT, no Shaq Leonard. He got a concussion and he broke his nose against the Titans last week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key to their defense. I think the Broncos actually played their best offensive game of the year last week. And they lost because Melvin Gordon fumbled and they got returned to a touchdown.
And they don't have Javante either.
No, to Javante, but I still trust Melvin Gordon, and they still have a solid run game. So I think also they're at home. I think that's an advantage. The altitude, you don't know, how that does. That's kind of a little bit of a home field advantage more than the rest.
Yeah, I think the oxygen tank's ready.
Listen, Russ played his best game of the year. I think this is the game for Russ.
He's going to fuel up on some danger witches before the game.
I think Cortland Sutton will have a nice 100-yard game. Jerry Jeudy in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
Against Kenny Moore is going to be really the X factor matchup. But I had the Broncos taking in the points because I just trust the Broncos to move the ball right now more than the Colts, especially if I was JT.
Yeah.
Especially if Pittman's still kind of a little bit banged up. And Matt
Who is
Ryan.
the Colts back now?
Not any minds.
Okay.
He's more of a receiving back, so I think
Yeah.
it's an interesting game, and obviously an interesting AFC matchup for obviously the Bills don't play either of these two teams, but Obviously, I picked one of them to win a division, and I'm picking them now to go to 1-4. So,
wow,
yay to me! But
look at that. All right, I'm gonna take us into the last game here.
It's not like you have much of a choice.
No, but we're going with the Dallas Cowboys and the LA Rams. The Rams off of an absolutely brutal beatdown by the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo are 4.5-point favorites. Are they the home team, Dom?
Yes, it's in LA.
It is in LA. And honestly, I'm going with the Cowboys on this one, guys. Jerry Jones. Who am I thinking of? Who's the owner of the team?
Owner of the Dallas Cowboys is Jerry Jones.
Oh, I got it right. All right. No, sorry. I was thinking of the coach that beat the Bills in the Super Bowl.
Jimmy Johnson?
Jimmy Johnson, yeah. Double J's. That's
From
why
Arkansas. Went to the same college.
Yep, look at that. But Jerry Jones likes the Gingers. He tried out Andy Dalton, didn't work out, went with Cooper Rush, and there he is. Look at 4-0 in his first 4 starts as a Dallas Cowboy. How can you deny? He's going 5-0.
Yeah, no, I'm riding the Cooper Rush high, too. I think they're going to win. I think Matt Stafford needs to learn how to throw to someone other than Cooper Kupp. So
they have Cooper Kupp in fantasy, though. The fantasy coaches don't want that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you got to spread the wealth there, buddy. Like, you can't just force feed one guy. So I think he's a little banged up too. I think the Rams in general just kind of, they have, I think, a lull going on right now, and I think just the hype around Cooper Rush is not legit, but I think it's just he's just rolling right now. Give him credit.
I think this is a testament to understand the NFL, that nothing is as good as it seems, and nothing is as bad as it seems. My point being, Dallas is 3-0 in their last 3 games. Cooper Rush, everyone's talking about him. The Rams just got absolutely waxed on Monday Night Football. This is going to be a life lesson in the NFL, that nothing is as good as it seems, and nothing is as bad as it seems. The Rams will rebound. Now, I will say I think it's going to be a close game, so I would take the Cowboys' points. 4.5 I think is a little bit too much for the Rams. I think it should be 4, 3.5. I just think 4.5 is just too many things beat you. 28-24 beats you. A 3-point game beats you. So I think that's a little bit too high of a spread. If it was more 3.5, maybe even I wouldn't even take it if it was 3.5. I think I would take the Rams and the points. But my betting advice would be to take the Cowboys. But the thing for me is I don't think Dallas has really been tested recently. Congratulations, you beat Washington. I don't think anyone's going to consider them to be a juggernaut.
No.
And I don't think Dallas is as physically dominant in the run game as they have been in years past. And I don't think they're going to be able to do what the Niners did to them, which is pound the football against them. And, the Cowboys, they beat the Giants. I don't think the Giants are really all that good either. And the Bengals, didn't play very well in my opinion. They should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, all in all, it's an interesting matchup.
I think it's an interesting matchup, but I think the Cowboys are a little bit fluky. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're a team that's going to go on the road and beat LA. And I believe in Sean McVay, and I believe in Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's going to make some plays in this game. If we were reviewing
Aaron Donald should have retired on top.
If we were recapping this game and someone asked me who's going to be the defensive player of the game, Aaron Donald. Dude's going to have 3 sacks.
You think?
3 sacks. He's going to make some big time plays.
Mike, what do you think about Aaron Donald?
He was my defensive player of the year, so I think he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking the Rams. Another.
I think was it the big run by Jeff Wilson? Aaron Donald was not on the field.
I think,
into the end zone without Aaron Donald. Yeah.
I took all 5 favorites in game picks.
Did you see that the fan that Bobby Wagner hit is pressing charges against him?
Well, he went head to helmet or helmet to head.
It's hysterical.
But then again, the guy ran on the field. He was asking for it.
The thing is, though, I don't think he has much to. You're not going to ask for a law advice, and this could be wrong, but he was technically violating the law by trespassing on the field.
Exactly.
So
I don't feel bad for this guy at all.
So
I don't feel bad for this guy at all.
No, neither do I.
Idiot.
Sit him down, Bobby Wagner. I applaud that.
What's the bigger bro moment? That guy running on the field, or the fan in Texas jumping out of his stands to try to get Aaron Judge's ball?
Oh yeah, I also wanted to make a point about that.
Guy. Who's the bigger bruh?
Congrats to Aaron Judge for having the 7th most home runs in a single season.
And breaking the AL record, And Garrett Cole the next inning breaking a Yankee record for pitches,
Aaron Judge broke a Yankee record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just saying those
and the AL record.
Those NL records have some asterisks around them.
Yeah. quote unquote.
But what did you call them?
Records.
You called them records.
Still asterisks.
Listen,
there's a reason Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame.
there's a reason why he's in the Hall of Fame, right? But it's still the record. The record is 73. It is not 62.
Well, those people were juicing. So
Okay.
yeah.
Roger Maris was not.
Not Roger Maris. I'm not saying Roger Maris.
I'm not saying that.
No.
That's my point.
Oh. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that's going to conclude.
Congratulations for a little bit of some baseball talk.
Oh my God. Yeah, you got a little bit of baseball at the end here, and just an achievement like that, you gotta. Even though Dom's a Red Sox fan, is a hater, we gotta acknowledge it a little bit. So that's gonna do it for our week 5 of betting on the Bills, and we'll see how it goes, and hopefully our picks land. And Dom, I always end these.
Go Bills, baby.
Go Bills.